For decades, millions of people relied on the mechanical hum of a box fan to drown out the world and finally get to sleep. Today, those physical blades have been replaced by glowing waves on our smartphones. But the software we use to replace that fan has split into two completely different approaches. You can choose the auditory void, a wall of static sound meant to block out distractions, or you can choose functional guidance, a highly adaptive system that attempts to direct your cognitive state. When you search the App Store for sleep sounds or focus music, these two methods are mixed together. They look nearly identical on the surface, making it incredibly hard to know what you are actually downloading. This chart shows the massive gap between your two main options. On the left, you pay $1 upfront for basic audio playback. On the right, you're looking at a recurring subscription of around $90 a year for an AI-driven engine. This choice represents a commitment to one of two paths: maintaining manual control over a static environment, or yielding your biometric data to an automated, adaptive system. To understand this choice, we have to look at the two apps defining the market. First is the White Noise app by TMSoft. It launched in 2008 and quickly became the dominant tool for creating that static auditory void. On the other side is Endel. It is a premium, algorithm-driven platform built entirely around the functional guidance model. Endel was built by a collective of musicians and artists rather than standard app developers. They drew heavy inspiration from ambient composers like Brian Eno, studying how sound naturally affects the nervous system. They also incorporated the theories of abstract painters like Wassily Kandinsky, building an interface that constantly blends color, form, and sound into a single, cohesive environment. Looking closely at the technological gap between TMFsoft's manual loops and Endel's artistic algorithms reveals exactly what you are paying for in the modern audio wellness market. TMFsoft relies on auditory masking. By raising the consistent background noise level in your room, sudden sharp sounds, like a car door slamming or a dog barking, fail to cross your brain's arousal threshold, keeping you asleep or focused. Notice TMFsoft in the bottom left quadrant: low cost, high manual effort. You act as DJ, mixing static sounds until finding your exact frequency. Happening locally, it offers absolute privacy, requiring zero personal data or internet connection to generate your noise floor. If your energy dips or your cognitive needs change, the sound loop will not adjust. You have to open the app and manually change the mix yourself. TMFsoft is a blunt, highly effective tool. It demands your manual input, but it fiercely protects both your wallet and your data. Endel occupies the top right quadrant. Instead of static loops, its patented AI generates unique soundscapes in real time. To construct these, the engine requires a constant stream of your environmental data, pulling location, weather, and time of day to determine your baseline context. For peak performance, it also needs your biometrics. If you wear a smart device, Endel actively monitors your resting and active heart rate. The algorithm uses all this data for circadian rhythm alignment. It attempts to map your biological energy cycles, matching the audio pacing to whether your body should naturally be winding down or gearing up for deep work. The result is a frictionless auditory environment. It adjusts the intensity and tempo of the music automatically as your physical state fluctuates throughout the day, requiring zero manual tweaks. To achieve this automation, you have to hand over significant real-time personal data to a proprietary algorithm. Endel treats you as a passive recipient. You surrender your data, and the software fully automates your audio optimization. At this point, it is fair to ask why you would pay $90 a year for Endel when a free Spotify ambient playlist also requires zero manual tweaking. The answer lies in premium content curation. Endel partners with major artists and estates, most notably creating a module called Wiggly Wisdom, featuring the archived lectures of the philosopher Alan Watts. Instead of playing a lecture straight, the AI fragments his spoken words. It weaves specific philosophical quotes into the ambient music, adjusting the frequency and tone of his voice based on your real-time heart rate and location. Traditional white noise is designed to create a cognitive void where your brain can shut off. Wiggly Wisdom intentionally provokes cognitive engagement and emotional presence. That annual fee is the toll for exclusive intellectual property delivered through a highly dynamic format, rather than just a basic sound generator. Brainwave scanning shows users listening to Endel's adaptive focus maintain concentration up to 7 times longer than those in silence. Alternatively, the traditional masking approach has rigorous backing, with clinical trials showing broadband white noise drop sleep onset time by nearly 40%. However, neuroscientists are raising flags about using static sound loops as a nightly crutch. When you blast an unstructured frequency into your ear for 8 hours, your auditory nerve is constantly processing that signal. It is never allowed to rest or reset, which can lead to metabolic fatigue and potentially degrade your neural pathways over time. Both paradigms provide immediate results, but their long-term physiological impacts mean they should be used as deliberate tools, not permanent background noise. So, how do you choose? The right answer depends entirely on your daily constraints and hardware. First, the privacy profile. It's for you if you need a sleep tool, operate on a budget, and refuse health tracking. Next, the biohacker profile. You fit here if you wear a tracker and value measurable focus over a cheap price tag. You aren't judging which piece of software is objectively better. You are simply matching their specific trade-offs to your actual lifestyle. Here is the final verdict. Buy the White Noise app as a one-time utility if your goal is manually building an impenetrable, private auditory void. Pay the annual subscription for Endel if you accept the data trade-off and want an automated algorithm reading your physical state to push your concentration and circadian rhythms to their peak. If you want the philosophy of Alan Watts woven dynamically into your productivity sessions, Endel is the only platform currently offering that specific combination. Sound wellness requires active intention. You have to decide if you want to manually block out the chaos yourself, or if you are willing to pay an AI to compose your calm.